Don't Starve Together is a harsh, no-holds-barred survival game with a charming art style but deadly content. Will I be able to survive in this land of constant agony and attempts on my life? Or will I crack under the pressure and lose all that's left of my dwindling sanity? Let's find out. I played 100 days of Don't Starve Together. Here's how it went. Day 1 spawned into a normal world. I picked flowers as usual, and I talked to this little crow guy because I didn't realize that it was summer, so we have the Midsummer Carnival. Kill me. Of course, one of my first instincts playing this game is to start punching butterflies. One, because I'm violent, and two, because they're amazing for health in the early game. But I didn't really realize that, obviously, Wigfrid doesn't eat butterflies, she only eats meat. And of course, one could argue that insects are meat, but she doesn't think so. So unless I get a crock pot, these things are going to be completely useless. But day 1 is basically just getting resources, deforestation, and then later at night I started a mass spider war on accident. Or, you know, accidentally on purpose, because I am a violent individual. Then later I found a wormhole next to a pig village, and I jumped in for no good reason. And when I checked on the map, I realized it was not that great a wormhole. Night fell while I was still gathering resources, so I set a poor little innocent tree on fire, and I continued to gather resources until the end of the night. Day 2 is more resource gathering, lots of exploring, and realized I was starving, so I made a fire and cooked myself the only meat that was in my pockets. Found myself some more spiders to murder brutally, and then I found a little dirt pile, which meant that I could hunt something for meat, which is good, because I'm gonna need a lot of meat to survive as this character. I chased down the poor koalefant until it was cornered, and then I beat it to death with my spear. Day 3 continued gathering rocks and gold for a science machine, and I found that weird little drama stage that I don't really know what to do with. I found the paved road that always leads to Glommer and the Pig King, so I was finally able to find somewhere where I can start my base. I plopped down my science machine, made some essentials like a backpack to carry some more, and then I immediately started to pillage the village and destroy their houses so that I could save on resources by using the resources I got from them. I then befriended some of the pigmen by giving them meat and attempted to start a war, but it got too dark and they got afraid, so they all ran home. I was able to kill some of the pigs for food before they got away, so that was nice. I then started to tear up the ground and try to make, I don't know, like the blueprint for my little base, and then I immediately started another forest fire because, honestly, I don't even think I had a good reason. I think I just liked the chaos. Day 4, I gathered charcoal with my pig friends, refined some materials, destroyed my science machine, and then I used what I had gathered to make an alchemy machine and a think tank. I then cleared out more space for what was going to be my kitchen, and I built my first crock pot. Then I started starving, unfortunately, so I had to cook a steak real quick before I could even enjoy my first meaty stew. Day 5 I accidentally didn't hit record, but it was mostly resource gathering. Day 6 I stole the ground from underneath the Pig King's feet to use in my base. I planted some grass and twigs, and I got a pretty mediocre gift from the alchemy machine. Day 7 I actually remembered to record, but then the recording got corrupted, so what are you gonna do? Apparently whatever I did on day 7 caused me to lose all my sanity, so here I am fighting all the shadow monsters that appeared. Then I ate some jerky, made some more jerky stands, planted stuff, and caught 2 rabbits. Days 9, 10, and 11 were very fun. Fed my imprisoned bird for the first time. Then I decided to wage war on the spiders one more time, this time with traps. Then I went grave digging and looting, because I am a terrible person. I ate some delicious jerky to celebrate my depravity, and then I started doing magic with a top hat and some bunnies. Cooked myself some pierogies, and since it was the first night of the full moon, I was able to go capture Glommer and imprison a couple of fireflies too. Day 12, I was messing with this cat coon for a long time. I really don't know what I was trying to do. I think I was like trying to befriend it or what, I don't know. And then hounds showed up, so that was cool. This is the second ever hound wave, so I just got 2, that was it. I then killed a poor innocent pigman that I purposefully made into a monster, and I found out Glommer died. It was awful. Day 13 rolled around and I wanted to explore more of the map, so I made it back to the original spot and I started with the carnival games. Carnival. Found that cute little dude, and then I immediately started grave robbing again. I think I might have a problem. All that grave robbing robbed me of my sanity, so I had to fight shadow monsters, but I won, and then I made some fridges, made one of Wigfrid's ballads, and a cookbook for recipes. Day 15. I clearly was in the mood to murder, so I just started killing all my neighbors for meat, and then oh god, don't look. I'm so sorry, I really didn't mean to. I killed some spiders, because that's more acceptable to murder, and then I was outsmarted by this stupid goat. I tried so hard to kill him, but I just couldn't, because he kept running away from me. I then went to murder some clockworks. A clockwork murdered another clockwork. Then I made off with the spoils and had some celebratory jerky. Lots of footage from day 17, but basically I just went underground and I kidnapped some light bulbs. After that, there were hounds, and more hounds, and I let my little light bugs free. After that, I did what no warrior should do, and I started planting a garden. She wasn't really happy about it. Then I placed this stolen Talbert egg by the fire, and I tried to raise it as my own, probably for food later. I tended to my garden a little more with the new watering can I made, and then I made Wigfrid talk to the seeds, which again, was not very happy about. Got started on my first boat, and then I awkwardly stared at my Talbert egg for the rest of the night. Oh my god, it's cooking, Wigfrid, do something! Alright, we're all fine. I decided that motherhood wasn't for me, so I just shoved it in a corner somewhere. I made myself a nice hat, and then I started burning wood and chopping wood and really just causing chaos and mayhem. Stole some ice from penguins, and then I started starving again because I'm an idiot, so I made myself some food. The rest of my night was spent rethinking motherhood. We're now a couple of days into winter, so why not go into the caves? Not sure why I made that decision, but I started my first cave base, and then I fought this slug for a while. I really didn't like fighting him because I like to tank things, and he was trying to make me be patient, and that's kind of the worst thing ever for me. So I just started smacking him in the face. It worked eventually. After exploring for about 0.5 seconds, I found this weird thing. I'm gonna name him Derek. I decided to start helping Derek. Not really, I just wanted the marble off of these things, because I can't actually break them right now. Then I went resource gathering again, I got rocks and some bones. Then I went home for some peaceful gardening and a little bit of murder of the locals. I put them to sleep so I could start stabbing them to death, but then I accidentally hit a penguin and I had to run for my life because these things are terrifying and they will kill you in like 3 seconds flat. They eventually gave up because they saw that I was pathetic and not worth fighting, so I went back and I killed that poor old man and his dogs. I didn't actually get to kill his son though because he escaped, and that makes me incredibly sad. Started placing some cobblestones to fix up my base a little bit, got myself my first veggies of the season, then I decided that it was time for my first boss fight, so I went full on Terraria with it and tried to fight the Eye of Cthulhu. It was a pretty fun fight, I wasn't taking too much damage, I was able to tank a little bit like I wanted to. It's basically the same thing as in Terraria, but in more of a 3D space. Even though this is like a 2D/3D game. I don't know, it's a whole thing. Someone smarter than me could probably explain it better. After fighting this guy all night long, he then decided that the sunlight was just too much for him, and he retreated like a coward. So then I had to waste a full day killing the neighbors so that I could wait for him to come back and I could fight him again. As you can see, I hit him a handful of times, and then he just crumpled like a napkin. The next day, I killed the bats that were guarding their territory in the entrance to the cave, and I went down to collect some fun things from the Lunar Grotto. It's wacky down here, and I didn't realize that so many things wanted to kill me. But joke's on them, because I killed them first and I stole their nostrils. On my way out, I accidentally got knocked out by a misty moon creature, so I took out my anger on the locals again. I then dropped my kidnapped light bugs, and placed some lightning bugs as well, for good measure. I'm constantly on the hunt for meat, so I started luring these turkeys, only to accidentally hit a penguin and incur the wrath of all of them. Then I got busy with a little more deforestation, and then I replanted the forest because I kind of felt a little bad for the environment. Did you know that you can take these nostrils and hang them to dry? Because I sure didn't. I tended my garden for food for the rest of the night, and then I also got another lackluster gift. It was fine though, because I took the opportunity to change my outfit to something more winter appropriate. That night, I also built a thermal measurer and decided to go kill the locals again because new neighbors had just spawned in, and they didn't ask my permission to live, so guess who doesn't get to anymore? On the eve of day 30, I heard the first rumblings of a monster. I didn't give myself enough time to prepare, so he absolutely destroyed my kitchen area. I then panicked and I tried to lure him away to find these penguins, but they didn't really do anything, they just instantly died. I ran over to my chests to put him to sleep. He took a nice little nap, and I tried to sing a ballad, but I realized that I didn't fight him, so couldn't sing, and I died. I ended up having to re-roll the day and play it again, and then I actually defeated him, but I forgot to hit record. I swear I did it legit this time. I'm so sorry that I didn't get it on video for you guys. My health and sanity were way too low from the fight, so I took a nap and had a snack. The next full moon was in full swing, so I was able to recapture Glommer. I also destroyed my magical hat machine and replaced it with a magical tentacle machine. Ugh. Day 32, I finally got my boat all ready, got a nice toasty campfire going, and I set sail to go find Pearl's Island. After a long, arduous journey of 2 minutes, I finally made it to Pearl's Island, and I started pilfering all of the things that I could find. After stealing a whole bunch of garbage from poor Pearl, I started freezing, and then I decided to go back home. I hope you enjoyed that sailing montage. I ended the day planting all of my seaweed for food later, and catching some more fireflies. Then, more deforestation. You guys know the drill at this point. This time I started a forest fire because I was cold, which in hindsight seems like a lot, but what are you gonna do? And then, oh god, okay, I started freaking out because I didn't have anything that I needed for patches, so I had to go kill some bees really quick. Here I am panicking some more, and I tried to repair the boat, realized, oh my god, you're really stupid, you're supposed to put it on the leak, not on the boat. Thankfully, I had enough for another patch, and I actually fixed it this time, so it's all okay. I finally went back to Pearl's Island, like I was intending to in the beginning, and I traded with her a little bit. She ate some of the seaweed that I put on her drying hooks, so that's a good sign. Unfortunately, springtime makes bees angry, and so they followed me all the way home, and I didn't want to kill them because she only had 4 bees, so here I am running around trying not to get stung. I then lit up my base a little bit more, and I changed my outfit for the spring. It's now day 37 and I decided to explore a little more. And, of course, murder, because that's my specialty. This time I actually had a purpose though, because I was trying to relocate the spiders to be closer to me, so I'm gonna use that as my excuse. I then started collecting a bunch of ice because this is probably my last chance to get any before summer, and I got attacked by this cat for trying to ransack his home. Please don't look, I'm so sorry. I need the meat. I spent the night gardening, fertilizing some bushes for filler for all my meatballs, and then I took a nice nap in my tent. Day 39 was spent focusing on food production, failing to sail once again, food production again, and, technically food production, okay? Murder is okay as long as you get to eat food afterwards, right? Then I built this fancy little pig house that looks like a cute cabin and took a nap again. Day 41 was all about the stonks, baby! Look at all that gold, I'm drowning in it. Started prepping for summer by building my very first fling-o-matic. Obviously the area of effect wasn't great, but, it'll protect my crops. I got a nice present. I mean, if you can call an invisible ore a nice present. Then I headed out to explore the desert a little. I murdered some doggies, ran away from some doggies, and then murdered some more doggies. As I was exploring, I found another wormhole, jumped in, and realized this one was even worse than the first one. I think this world is cursed. Desert exploring means even more stonks, which means I am now a billionaire. I ate some delicious food, and then committed deforestation once again. And I started making some traps for the dogs, but obviously my spiders are a little too close, so they had to die. Unfortunately, I'm terrible at cooking, and I was trying to make some food, but I made wet goop instead, so I had to look up the recipe for ice cream. And then I made some ice cream, and I got to eat it as a nice treat. How cool is that? Then I got a little bit more exploring done, jumped around on this boat for some reason, and pillaged these weird stinky pig heads. Worked on getting some leafy meat, and I fed my new bird, which I was determined not to kill this time because I need it for gardening. I was feeling the itch to fight again, so I prepared by making a bunch of spears and a bunch of armor, and I went out to go fight some innocent children, and then their mom got mad at me, so I ended up having to try to kill her too. I went a little tank crazy and took a lot of damage, so I ended up having to retreat and make some more armor, but now it's back to killing. When their mom finally died, the kids got really mad at me and started turning into, I don't know, horrible little angry tornadoes? So that was really fun to try to kill. They were running around like crazy and setting things on fire, so yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but eventually I killed them all. This one even roasted itself. How convenient is that? After that, I made some statues to celebrate my murder spree. Then I ate some more meatballs and committed deforestation, and then got attacked by the forest. Oh god, and another forest! I wasn't prepared to fight them, so after getting smacked around a little bit, I made them both go to sleep so that they would forget all about the things that I did. This way I could just attack them one at a time. It's now day 49, and the hounds are attacking. The waves still aren't that big, which is kind of weird for me. I feel like I always expect them to be a lot bigger, even though I only play solo. Killed some bats for fun, and then I healed up some of my items with a sewing kit that I made. I got bored of fighting things above ground, so I went underground to fight some more things. But this time, I don't really have to fight everything alone. I can just hire things to fight for me, which is great. They're super cheap. It's basically slave labor. This time I didn't go crazy. I just found some nightmare fishers and I started fighting some monsters. And then I found the other bit of toadstool and started exploring the muddy biome a little bit. I ended up finding a respawn point, so I put a fire there just in case. And I found this entrance that led all the way to the opposite side of my map, which isn't super convenient, but you know, it works. I killed this lure plant for more leafy meats, and tended to the garden like a filthy vegetarian. Down a koalefant, but I didn't quite need the meat yet, so I decided to just chase it into my base and then start making a pen for it. These spiders were not making it easy though, and it was very annoying. I had to kill them. I also realized that I accidentally made this very crooked, and that's gonna bother me for the rest of the series. Opened up a present, got some snazzy shoes, and I changed into my summer gear. Wrangling the koalefant sure was a lot of fun. I couldn't chase it, so I just smacked it instead and had it chase me. He eventually got wrangled into the cage, which was great, and then I started trying to chase this little guy into the cage as well. Took me forever, but I cut out all the fluff, so we can pretend that it didn't. I then gathered some ice and started ripping up the savanna turf so that they could feel a little bit more at home. At the end of day 56, these spiders really started to bother me, so I went and tried to destroy their nests, and then one of the nests turned into a horrible spider queen, so I guess it's boss fight time. Obviously, I wasn't prepared for this one, so I started burning to death. So I had a little cooldown at my endothermic fire, and then I proceeded with the beatdown. Day 58 was mostly just a lot of farming and resource gathering. I planted up some trees again because I felt bad for cutting down older brothers and sisters, and I made myself this cool staff. Get it? Yeah, then these random weird squid things ran into my base, so I just started chasing them, and the pigs helped me kill them all. I also found out that apparently my little guy had died, and I'm really not sure how, but I was mad, so I went on another murder spree. It definitely was anger-filled, and not just because I needed some food. I cooked up some delicious food for the road, and I headed back out to go find another baby to steal. So I smacked it to try to get it to move, and that was a terrible mistake because everyone got really mad at me for some reason. Wrangling this guy was a whole fiasco because I tried to get him in, and then my koalefant got out and started running around, so yeah, I eventually got them back in, but it was like a whole day of just trying to get these guys back in there. It was time for hounds again, so I went and set up my traps. I really should have done this earlier because they really, they spanked me on this one. It was awful. I got some more filthy plant meat, and then I reset up my traps for the next time. It was now day 62, and I decided to go back exploring in the mines. Defeated this tentacle, gathered up some rocks, and started beating down on these weird, sluggy things again. I then used their flammable slime to blow up this tentacle. Took a little bit, but eventually it died, and I was able to jump into the weird, slimy hole. It didn't really get me anywhere. I swear, this world is cursed! The snail bothered me again, so I just blew him up. I set up a little interim campfire because my needs were really low, and I started kind of going crazy because I only had monster meat to eat, so I fought some monsters, and then I went fishing for real food ingredients. Caught a bunch of eels, fought some more monsters, and then all of a sudden the earth started quaking, and I realized, oh my god, it's a worm attack, I'm really bad at these. So I ran away like a coward. I looked up some recipes that I could use the eel for, and I ended up making some delicious unagi. And I was able to make some sushi too, which I was super excited about. I took my delicious food and fought my way back into the cave so I could actually go face my fears like a true man. I then made this cute little bone statue. Look at this little guy. Isn't he cute? I accidentally messed up my base with an antlion attack, but that's okay because I was just up there trying to restock my fridge and gather a bunch of materials so I could run through the mines. I was determined to find the ruins this time, and find the ruins I did. I finally found the nasty muddy biome, but then things started going a little bit crazy and I almost died. So I had to run back and regroup. I turned around and I went back again to find the muddy biome, and I used my moggles to see if I could find ruins, and I finally found the entrance. I started looting the place for everything that it had because I wanted a bunch of thulecite. Then the antlion got mad again and threw a tantrum, so a bunch of rocks came out of this earthquake. I didn't really care though, I was really busy trying to loot things while this dumb knight was attacking me. And again, all I had to eat was monster meat because I'm really bad at preparing, so I started going crazy. I had to fight off like 1,000 of these stupid monsters, and it was really annoying. My health was super low, so I started panicking and I had to retreat. I spent most of the days trying to fight my nightmares, and it was kind of a nightmare itself because, oh my gosh, my health was so bad. I was too scared and injured to actually go back down underneath the ground again, so I decided to bond with my little guy. I took a nice long nap to heal up all of my sanity and health, and then I opened up a nice present. Then I went back down, realized I forgot all of the things that I needed, and had to go back up. And then I went back down again, and I continued to go looting, and this stupid monkey tried to steal from me, so I had to kill him dead. Not sure why I'm crying here. I don't really regret it. I then burned all this goop to make some ash so I could make a ton of healing poultices, because I was desperately gonna need them. I said one last goodbye to my garden, and then I headed back down like the brave soldier I am. I had to fight some worms on my way in, but that's okay because that means I get glowberry. I also didn't realize that the shadow monkeys were out, and so I got really beat up. I basically had to use all of my healing items just so I can run back when the shadow phase was over. I wanted to repair this ancient machine, but these ancient machines were trying to kill me, and oh my gosh, it was so frustrating because I couldn't evade the stupid laser beams. So I tried to blow him up, but it wasn't super effective. I mean, it did set him on fire, but honestly, it was just a whole mess, and I died. So I re-rolled, and we're doing day 76 again. I'm trying to defeat these guys at a different location, set up a fire, and I actually thought I was doing a lot better than the last time. Look, I even let this guy go to sleep. And then I blew him up again, and I beat him to death, and I actually survived, and I was so proud of myself. I was finally able to actually make some of the items that I needed at this stupid ancient machine. Unfortunately, as you guys know, I am a massive idiot, so I didn't realize I was starving to death. So I died again, and I re-rolled again. Now we have to do this all over. Now I blew up the guy, and then he killed me. So I re-rolled, and I ran back upstairs to take a nap, And honestly, at this point, I just needed a win. So I got a bunch of gold, and I killed my little boy because I needed the food. And I killed these guys because I needed the food. And I ran back down with a ham bat this time, so I could beat up these stupid guys who keep killing me over and over and over again. Obviously, I know I'm not good at combat, but my goodness, this is just ridiculous. Day 78, and it's finally a victory. I was able to reconstruct all the things that I had made previously, and I ran back home with the spoils of my conquest. With 7 health, of course. But just look at the stonks I got from all this! I beat up those robots and I stole all their innards, and I was able to get so much gold. I'm probably never gonna need gold ever again. I really need to start paying attention to my hunger bar, because this is getting ridiculous. Well, at least I'm super rich now. I'm on day 80 and I'm back to the homesteading life of a filthy vegetarian. I gathered up all my marble trees and I replanted them so I could get even more marble. Then I changed my outfit for the fall, and I went and started catching bees for some food. I made my first honey box so I could make a bunch of honey hams in the future, and then I gathered more resources and committed more deforestation. Unfortunately, the sweet smell of honey attracted a bearger, and so I was trying to defeat him, but I didn't really feel like murdering him this time. I know, crazy. So I kept trying to, pass him off on other people. And by other people, I just mean angry trees, but they weren't targeting him at all. They were just attacking me, which was really mean of them. He eventually fought the tree and killed it, and then we took a little break in the nighttime, and then I decided to kill him finally, because he was fully weakened from all those trees attacking him. He dropped his skin when he died, which was kinda weird, but I mean helpful. I then had to spend a ton of time trying to clean up the stupid pen that he broke down. Then I had the task of trying to track down another beefalo so I could kill it. Bring it back to my base. Started starving again because I have a serious problem. And then I commenced with the killing again. I stole their child, planted some trees, and I spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to wrangle this guy back into his pen. Gosh darn it, will you just pay attention to your hunger bar for 5 seconds? You're really driving me crazy. I eventually got another beefalo in, but then the stupid little guy ran out, and I had to chase him around for an entire day. Look at this montage, this is ridiculous. And then the other guy got out, and I started panicking because he was following me. It was just a whole mess. I eventually had to just give up on him because the hounds were approaching. So I went back to my little area that I set up, and it did really good this time actually. Still need to expand it a little bit, but it did a great job. I lost a little beefalo, but at least I have a big one, right? I continued farming for food, and making some delicious food because I keep starving over and over again. And then I went back down into the mines because I had that weird pickaxe axe, and I was able to free this guy. He seemed really happy about it, but then he started getting attacked by invisible nightmare creatures, so I just dipped. Day 87, I decided to explore the rest of my map because I wanted the whole thing to be open by the time I hit 100 days. So I grabbed some rocks from the desert area again, and I beat up some doggies. Well, got beat up by some doggies is more like it. And then I just basically spent all day gathering resources and getting everything all set up. I have a really nice base so far. Also, I got another terrible present. I only had a couple more days left of this whole challenge, so I decided to visit Pearl and fix her island. So I needed to grab a bunch of salt to do that, and beat up these dumb little cookie cutters that kept smacking me in the face for no reason. I had to beat up this one with a shovel. It was embarrassing. I got attacked by this shark, but I couldn't actually beat it because, again, I'm terrible at combat. So I ran away like a true coward and ended up fixing up Pearl's house in the middle of the night. She seemed pretty happy about it, and so I traded, but then I realized I traded for the wrong thing, and I already had this one, so I was really sad about it and didn't know what to do. Then I sailed home and I realized, oh my gosh, it's actually going to be a full moon tonight. So I tried really hard to do the moon event, like the little moon pillar thing. It didn't go well. I ended up really messing it up because obviously I didn't do any preparation, which is really dumb. So all these guys opened up and they beat it down and beat me down. I tried it a couple times, it just didn't work out. I'm gonna have to revisit this the next full moon after I've actually prepared a little bit. It wasn't all bad though. I was able to get some moon rocks and craft a moon dial out of them, which is nice. I spent some more time burning down trees for charcoal, which is really good for fuel. I cried over my dead bird that I forgot about again. God, I really am a monster. Then I cooked his corpse, because obviously you can't mourn forever. My boat bridge over here with all my leafy meat on it disappeared. Not sure how that happened, so I repaired it so I could go murder the locals again, which is always a lot of fun. Day 94, I didn't do anything really important. I just did a bunch of boring chores like planting trees and fixing up my area. Worked on my kitchen a little more and grabbed a bunch of food because I was going on a journey. I went out and I caught some fireflies for fun, and then I engaged in the ritualistic burning of this poor tree. I was on a journey for a pet, so I ran back to where I found the rock den and I set up a little camp, and I looked at what I needed to get the cute little kitty cat, and I tried to decide on different ones, but I always get the cat. It's really, really cute. I like it a lot. I spent some time murdering tall birds for fun because I was in the area, and I cooked their children because, I don't know, I'm a monster. Got some ice, and I got some more gold, and I ran back home so I could start collecting the ingredients I need for kitties. I killed the locals again because, well, I mean, I only have a couple days left in winter, so I may as well, right? I chased these deer off my property, stupid interlopers, and for some reason I waged war on the bees. I don't really know what I was doing here. Probably stingers or something, I don't know. Did a little more ritualistic burning. I had a nice little meal by the campfire before running back out and deciding I don't actually want the cat, I want the beautiful little snowy Glom Glom. Plus he was easier to get. I love you, Glom Glom. You're the cutest little bug I've ever seen. Glom Glom and I spent the rest of the day pillaging and killing all of his favorite activities, really. I tried my luck again with a wormhole, and good golly, this one actually worked out a little bit. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's better. The evening of day 99 was spent burning things and fighting off doggies. There really weren't that many this time, and I was pretty happy about it. I almost froze to death though, so I had to take a break, burn some more trees, and hang out with my little glommer. It is now officially day 100. I decided that I wasn't doing anything today except making a delicious feast for myself to celebrate my achievements. So I made a honey ham, and I had some taffy. I really enjoyed doing this challenge, and I think Glom Glom did too, even though he came in at the end. So that's the story of how I survived 100 days and Don't Starve Together. Make sure you like and subscribe, and comment down below if you want to see me do 200 days and Don't Starve Together. See you guys later!